Tonight I was watching Michelle Obama's documentary Becoming, and she said something that really stuck out to me, and I was like, oh, that's how I feel. You know, she did a tour with her book, and she said that the idea of doing the tour was for her to reflect and to take stock of like what happened, like the 8 years she was in the White House and different things that took place, like kind of to stop, reflect, and say what happened. Like, and it was her being herself unplugged for the first time in a long time. And I felt like in this reflecting the last decade of where I've been, here it presents like it's a small picture, but as I process, I'm like, wow, like what happened? And I remember this and I remember that. And I know I'm gonna have to process through some, I've had to process through some quite challenging stuff that I'm like, okay, we didn't want to deal with that. We didn't want to process that. But it's a way of me actually doing that, where I process and I take stock and I'm like, okay, this is the journey I've been on. So I can then look to the journey that I'm heading towards. So we are now on, what day am I on? 26 days to 30. This is getting really, really, I'm growing. I am actually growing. This is amazing. Painful. We're on to 2011, and that's the year I turned 21. But that's not what I'm going to talk about because it was nothing exciting. It was the year that I started to lead worship. I was backing vocals. My sister was the worship leader. All of a sudden, she decides to go off to college. Not even be called college, but uni. Higher education. She decides to go on to higher education, but in a different city. I know she wanted to stay in Cork, but hey, I still blame her till today. Everyone was like, you're going to be the worship leader. You're going to be the worship leader. I was like, no, I'm not. I'm really not. I'm really, really not. Like, I don't know where you're getting that from, but I'm not. Lo and behold, I became it. The first time I had to lead a song, oh my days. Mate, I was literally stood still. I was stood still, shaking. There comes the trembling again, the trembling, and shaking, and looking at everyone going, mind you, my church was very small, and I was like, I don't know if I could do this. I don't want to do this. It was actually quite interesting because I just kind of, I want to say I stumbled into it. I stumbled into leading worship. It wasn't necessarily, from the moment that I got saved, when I said yes to having a relationship with Christ, I made a decision and said, I'm always going to say yes to the things of God. And this was one of those things I was just like, okay, you say yes, you know, this is good, say yes. And so I had a burden for, you know, to kind of serve in the church and, you know, do different things. And so when the opportunity came up, I was like, okay, you know, yeah, I'll do it. All the time inside, not really realizing what I said yes to. Being in that place of singing in the church really challenged my relationship with God. How I interacted with people, to learn more about the Word of God, about the Bible, to pray more. One of the things that really grew me as a Christian. It's been a journey ever since. Even thinking back to, like, you know, me learning to play instruments and learning different musical things. I did music in school, but kind of having to go in depth practically, completely different. And leading people was my first experience of leading people in, you know, in their own developments as well, which is quite a privilege. It's a challenge as well, leading people in their own personal developments. It's been challenging, it's been reflective, and it's been refreshing. I probably wanted to do something like this for a while, like a vlog, but yeah, I think this is just the time to do it, I guess. Or turning 30 just made me bolder. Like, I don't care anymore about, not anymore completely, but, you know, yeah, it just takes away all that other stuff. For me anyway, I know not everyone's the same. All the other things surrounding the why not, why I shouldn't or should do things. That was the most significant thing of 2011. The first year I started leading worship. And so, yeah, 2011, the first year I started leading worship. yeah, very, very cool. And I think the next video, no, the next video is going to be more of a cover. I'm going to do a cover. Maybe not the next one, but at some point I'll do a cover song. And yeah, we'll see how it goes.